So if your son is 10 and he likes to play with children who are 6, I'm wondering what happened in life when he was 6 or 7 that has him trapped at that developmental stage where he still wants to socialize with 6 and 7-year-olds. Michael Jackson was abused as a child. It didn't matter how old Michael Jackson got. He still functioned like a 7 and 8-year-old. You know why? Be very careful about who you allow your son to be around, because they're pushing that transgender stuff and that gay stuff in the schools. I would hate for that young man to end up around boys who are predators, and they end up manipulating him into an experience that later on has him questioning his gender identity.
Hello?
Yes, Roxy, how you doing?
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. You're calling from Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead with your question, beautiful.
So, I just moved to Atlanta from Raleigh, North Carolina. I have a 10-year-old son. He has gone through a few years. His primary years in school, he's in 5th grade right now. So, all the way up till now, the classrooms he's been in have been majority white and other. So it's usually just him and one other black child. Now we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's in a school where the entire class is black. So it's a couple of things. One, I think he's being very timid. He's not socializing as he usually would. And I'm wondering if it's a culture shock to some degree, because in Atlanta, you get every single solitary type of black there is. There is no one type. You got African-American kids from New York. You got them from Gainesville, Florida. You got them from everywhere.
You said Atlanta public school got every type of black kid you can possibly want. You said it's a melting pot of blackness, huh? You said New York black, you got Outback Jack black, you got Alabama black, you got Virginia black. You said you got every kind of black you could muster in Atlanta, huh?
Every kind, every shape, size, color, shade, everything.
Okay. And this is his first time in an Atlanta public school.
Yes.
It's probably culture shock. It's probably
so
culture
how do I
shock.
help him navigate this? Because I'm a single parent, but his father is involved in his life. But his father is in Kuwait because he's a former soldier, and that's really he's like on a contract. So it's like for him to be able to make money as a black man and make a decent amount for us to live on, he got to go out of the country. So I'm trying to help my son navigate this. And I don't know how, because I'm not a man. I'm not a black man. I don't know how to do that. I'm a black woman. If he was a young lady, I could tell him how to do it. But it's like I don't know how to help him in a way that doesn't soften him too much. And I don't want to be too hard on him. I don't know where the median is.
And what are you seeing from your son that suggests to you that there's a problem at all? What are we seeing? What is he saying? What is he doing? Why do you think there's a problem?
So he does not seem to want to be around young boys his age. He wants to see them, he wants to be around like 3rd graders. And like he wants to hang out with them, or like if it is his age, he wants it to be a girl. And I'm like, see, that's a little, he's not, and he's, I'm not saying that, he's thinking any kind of way, but I feel like he should be around little boys that experience the same thing as him, being a black man,
Okay, I follow you, but let me say this. If he is a very gentle child, okay, he will shy away from aggressive children. And that in and of itself is not a bad thing, not in and of itself. Also, if for whatever he's been through in life, if he didn't get something at an earlier stage of psychological development, he could be trapped there. So if your son is 10 and he likes to play with children who are 6, I'm wondering what happened in life when he was 6 or 7 that has him trapped at that developmental stage where he still wants to socialize with 6 and 7-year-olds. In other words, that could have absolutely nothing to do with the classroom he's in. That could have everything to do with certain experiences he had when he was the age of the children he prefers to have as playmates. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we got to look at that both ways. It could be a classroom thing, but that sounds more like psychological development that is beyond the classroom. Here's what you need to do, though.
6 years old, that's when he and his father got divorced.
You and his father got divorced when he was 6. Exactly. Yeah. And so for him, that was traumatic. And then I'm also wondering if that was really the last time he really spent quality time with his biological father. Because if it was, that could also help explain this. Let's take Michael Jackson, right? Whose birthday we will celebrate on August the 29th, the greatest who ever did it. Michael Jackson was abused as a child. It didn't matter how old Michael Jackson got. He still functioned like a 7 and 8-year-old. You know why? That was the last time he can remember being allowed to be a child. It was the last time where he probably felt some sort of genuine happiness. It was the last time he would live his life without people trying to take advantage of him, exploit him, and force him to grow up before his time. Your son may be experiencing something like that as well. I recommend that you get him a couple sessions of therapy. If you text me tomorrow, I should be able to dig up a therapist for you in the Atlanta area. I think your son needs to talk with somebody. That's number one. Number two, I think that you need to enroll him in some sort of structured extracurricular activity outside of that school, where you know that he's going to be around heterosexual boys and heterosexual men. I don't care if it's chess. I don't care if it's robotics. I don't care if it's just a mentorship program at the local church. It doesn't have to be athletics. If your son isn't into athletics, he don't have to be into athletics. But I want you to get him into something where he's around men and boys, something that is not stereotypically masculine like football and basketball, because I don't think your son is ready for that. Get him in something around men and boys that is progressive and structured outside of school, because I also think he's spending too much time up under you. And if he stays under you all the time, he'll never develop the skills he needs to navigate social life as a young black boy. Do you feel me?
Absolutely.
And the last piece I want to give you is be very careful about who you allow your son to be around, because if he is a gentle spirit, I'm not saying effeminate, I'm saying gentle, okay? Because at that age, he ain't at the age yet where he's sexually attracted to anybody. So homosexuality is out of the question anyway. Mm-hmm. However, because they're pushing that transgender stuff and that gay stuff in the schools on our children, and you're in Atlanta, which is the mecca for that agenda. Atlanta is the mecca for that agenda. You have to protect your son. You cannot have him anywhere where you don't know the men involved. You can't have him for no long amount of time around anybody unless you can absolutely trust them with your life. Because I would hate for that young man to end up around boys who are predators, sexual predators, and they end up manipulating him into an experience that later on has him questioning his gender identity. So you got to be extra careful with him because he's a gentle soul.
Okay.
You feel me?
I understand.
But we got to get him some therapy, and we got to get him in an extracurricular activity. Those two things are primary. When is the next time he will see his biological father face to face?
Christmas. He
Christmas.
only sees him twice a year.
He only sees him twice a year, living in Atlanta.
But his father. So we moved to Atlanta because in North Carolina I had no support. I had nobody, and so here his father's family and parents live.
Okay, that's understandable. Totally understandable, my queen. But keep your arms wrapped around it. Keep them close to you. Keep them close, because you are living in a predatory society down there, and we can't let nobody get to him. We got to keep him escorted and protected.
Thank you. And can you please send me the referral?
Yes. What I want you to do, text me tomorrow after 2:00, and I'll send it to you. I don't want you to text me tonight, because I'm going to get so many texts tonight that I'm going to end up overlooking yours.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Will do, Queen. No problem. Have a good one.
Be safe. Be blessed.
All right now. Hold on.